Welcome back to Guys Being Dudes podcast. Today I'm here with,
Dallas, Brian,
Thomas.
and today we'll be talking about the Cowboys fandom and how social media is a big impact within sports fandom. So boys, what initially drew you guys into your favorite football team or your favorite sport? Start off with Brian.
honestly, my family. My dad was a big Cowboys fan growing up, so I kind of gained that love from him, and fell in love with them myself from there.
Dallas?
Yeah, I'm a pretty similar story. My dad was a fan of the team throughout the 90s. I was actually named after the team, so that plays a pretty big role in it. And I was kind of born into it and forced to be a fan, and I love them.
McNeil.
I mean, it's a similar story to all these other guys. Just family related, and I'm a big fan of my football team, the New York Giants.
Yeah, and I'm a Niners guy, but today we're going to be talking about the Cowboys and diving into the different ways social media plays into engaging with your team on different sites, Instagram, whatever you guys use. So first, how do you guys express yourself when you support like your favorite team? Like how you attend games, or do you buy like their merchandise, follow them on medias?
I'll start off. I usually try to, when the Cowboys are in town, since they're a team that's all the way in Dallas, whenever they're playing like the Eagles or the Giants, I usually make an effort to try and get to the game. And other than that, social media does play a huge part. You want to express your fandom online and let people know. So when the Cowboys win, they always post these little compilations and everything. So I always give those a nice repost, let everyone know I'm rooting for my team.
We got now.
Yeah, I've been to many games in my life. Every couple of years, my family and I take a trip down to Texas and we go attend a game. We actually went this past winter when they played the Lions, so that was a ton of fun. We usually try to go to one game a year, whether that's here against the Giants or, like I just said, getting out to Texas to see a game. Merchandise is a big thing. I have plenty of jerseys, probably over 25 to 30 in my lifetime, which is a crazy amount. I'm always repping them in season, out of season. You can see with the t-shirt here. And on social media, I follow them on Twitter, Instagram. I follow players personally on Instagram, so that's kind of how I support my team.
Yeah, I support my team in pretty much all the ways these guys said. I follow them on social media. I buy a lot of their merchandise. I got a lot of autographed things from past Giants, and I kind of repost some edits that they make, and that's how I support my team.
Yeah, since you brought up edits, have you guys ever created any types of fan work, fan edits?
Personally, no, but I do usually, like, these accounts I have edits. I'm a pretty big fan, so I always make it like my backgrounds or my lock screens, different stuff like that. There's a lot of accounts that post video compilations. It's crazy. You don't even need to watch the game anymore. Go right on your phone after the game, you see every single play from the game in a compilation, every single good play. So, that's a pretty cool aspect of what social media has brought to the whole sports industry.
Yeah, I feel like social media is a big part, whether, like you said before, reposting or even sometimes on Twitter, just posting your own things about controversy topics. Like I know for this class, I was talking about Dak Prescott and how I was on Twitter and looking up different ways how Dak Prescott was being talked about in the media today, whether he was being traded or if he was a good quarterback for your team long term. Yeah, so different ways media could definitely translate into how you interpret your team or how different people kind of talk about your team or your fandom. Yeah. But what are some positive aspects on sports fandom on social media? Like, what do you feel like is positives for supporting your team online, or even social media being there for you to support online?
I think it just grows the fan base, even though some people don't watch football. Especially New York, Giants and Cowboys, they bring people together.
Yeah, I definitely think, social media is a positive thing for sports. Like Brian said before, posting highlights, getting more people involved. I really think it allows more people that aren't as familiar with sports in general to kind of get familiar with the games and get interested in them, which is kind of what these leagues and these teams want to promote. So I think that's a pretty positive aspect that social media plays in these sports.
Yeah.
I think I'll add. I think it makes it makes your sports team more than just a team you're rooting for personally. It makes you part of like a community.
Yeah.
Like online, your community of fans. You go in the comments, talk about the game, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. It just is more of gives you a community feel. Gives you like really makes you want to support your team, and you could just talk about it and everything like that.
Yeah, kind of going off that, like, some of the best memories I have in school, like school lunches, is talking sports, like stuff we see on social media, whether that be sports debates. Is this guy going to get traded here? Is this guy going to get drafted there? Like, I think all those things that social media had an impact on really made those times great.
Yeah. Now, if, let's say we flip to the other side of the hand and we talk about how sports teams and athletes utilize social media to kind of engage with their fans, how do you feel like social media impacts that and allows them to do that?
I mean, I'm a big fan of it personally. I like when teams kind of engage with their fan bases, when players kind of, do autograph signings or auction off certain items via social media. I think that's a really great way to keep people engaged with the team and people kind of supporting the team and supporting certain players. So I think it's very useful.
Do you feel like that enhances like your loyalty towards the team and liking the team a little bit more because you feel like now the athletes and the team actually cares for you? Do you feel like that connection to
Yeah,
the fan?
I mean, I think it definitely makes it a little more personal. Like, I can follow this team and I can see how they're putting in the work and posting all these things so that I'm in the loop and it shows that they care,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it shows a different side of the players, so it allows the players to express their personality, but also building off of all these positives of it. I mean, players, it could be turned into a negative or toxic environment for them. I mean, it's just they're constantly getting criticized for every wrong move that they make. So I think there are positives and negatives to the players, really being involved with the fan base and being able to interact with them pretty much instantly after a game, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah, and I guess kind of going off that negative side as well, like, you look at a guy like Dak Prescott, for the Cowboys specifically, he gets a lot of hate, whether he performs really well or performs really bad. It's pretty much the media and all these comment sections and all that stuff, like, it's all negative stuff towards him. So I definitely think that's a downside of having social media and that type of social media impact, because you never know what that guy's going through off the field, And I mean, he's had a lot going on, mental health stuff. I think his brother committed suicide a few years ago. Like, that's tough on a guy like that, especially when he goes on his phone and logs into Instagram or whatever. That's the first thing he's seeing. Dak Prescott sucks. Dak Prescott not all this stuff. Like, so I definitely think that's a negative way to look at it.
Yeah, and kind of enhancing on that negativity. I know you just talked about Dak Prescott and you encountering like negativity and toxicity. What social medias do you guys use, like Twitter, Instagram, to like view like Cowboys fandom and edits and different things?
I'm a big, it depends. I mean, I'm more Instagram to see like highlights of the game, to just see like what went on in the game, different stuff like that. And then Twitter is more where I go to look at the complaints of the game, to talk about the game, to see what people are saying about the game, and to see what insiders are saying about the game, like the sports insiders, the guys on ESPN. They pretty much live tweet the entire game. So different social media platforms give you like different views on the game. If you really want to talk about it, go to Twitter. If you want to see what happened and the visuals, you go to Instagram.
Yeah. I'm not big on Twitter, so I use Instagram a lot to kind of get my sports feed via social media. I'm a big YouTube guy as well, so I'll watch the sports shows, the debates, whether that be before or after the game. But there are also comment sections on YouTube as well that kind of have some negativity as well.
Do you feel like one site is more toxic than the other?
I mean, I feel like probably Instagram is probably more negative or toxic. There's not really a filter on Instagram. I know YouTube has filtered comments, but especially towards certain teams, like bigger branded teams like the Cowboys specifically, or the 49ers, or the Giants, or whoever it might be. The bigger branded teams tend to get hated on more just because they get more national coverage from the media. So, when you see a team